Hi y'all! Today we're going to be playing with a bunch of new summertime mood kind of stuff. So I'm working on an extension to my big bronzer video from last year, my big cream bronzer video. My chair is just rotating. Surely there's a way to fix this. I don't know what it is. So I have had some requests to acquire some of the lightest shades that have come out recently, like as shade expansions to a lot of these ranges that we reviewed in the past, and I have a handful of them here today. So thinking that like today is going to be a bronzy look, I might end up just putting too much bronzer on. Fine, that's fine with me. And then I also picked up a couple of other things that I didn't get a chance to feature in the last Get Ready With Me, one of which is this Hourglass eyeshadow stick. Y'all, behind the scenes there are people influencing me, and one of them is Natalie of My Skintrist, okay? She's always just like, well, this came out, and I'm just like, dadgummit, I'm really interested in that. So I bought this in the shade Voyeur, and it's like a gold, like a much more sincere bronze gold than I thought it was going to be. And so I think, look at that, I think this is gonna be really bronzy. And then, you know, I actually don't know what my opinion is currently on the state of M Cosmetics and their owner, but M Cosmetics has started sending me PR again, and I got 3 of the new So Soft blushes, and I really love this formula for summer, so I'm gonna use it. And so yeah, I also took some questions from y'all on my Instagram, as I always do. If you're not following me over there, it is at HeyKaki, so that you can have influence over future Get Ready With Me's, because that's what makes them so long and enjoyable in podcast style, is that we just sit and talk about whatever. So let's just sit and talk about whatever and review some makeup. Let's go and jump in. Once again, you can crop anything, but I didn't have to today because this one is Frankie Shop, and Frankie Shop really knows how to crop something, okay? Like, they inspire my cropping habits. They enable me, so. These are on sale right now at Net-a-Porter for like 30 bucks, and that's great news for people who aren't me, because I already paid full price for mine. Okay, what are we gonna use for a primer today? I think I'm gonna go back in with my Victoria Beckham like we did in the last video. So this is the Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. I was talking about how, man, that video is flopping. I don't know why, like what was wrong there, but you know, sometimes they flop. It's just how it is. I think it's also because I've been uploading so late in the day lately, and it's just like not what the algorithm wants me to do. I already have like 3 layers of sunscreen on because I have been doing so much intensive work on my skin, which you can actually see. I mean, a lot of this stuff is healing. A lot of it's like coming to the surface and peeling off. And so I want to make sure that I'm like even more diligent than usual about my sunscreen. So there's our primer. You know, the lighting is weird, but at the same time, I was editing the last video and I liked it because I was like, you can see everything. Like, I'm okay with it being less flattering if you can see everything. And I really feel like you can. So what I want to use for foundation today is actually the Luminous Silk from Armani. There's just been Armani, like new releases from Armani popping up on my radar lately. And I know I didn't like the Luminous Silk Concealer, unfortunately, but I think I remember liking the Luminous Silk Foundation. I got it in this cutie little bottle just to try it. I think I've only used it like twice maybe, and I want to get my head back around it because I just ordered another shade in the Luminous Silk blush because it's an exclusive to the Armani website, and it looks just so nice. It's this like desaturated peach. I was just like, me! And then I also ordered the bronzer, but they weren't available in the same place at the same time, so I ordered the blush on the Armani website and paid shipping on it. And then I ordered the bronzer on Nordstrom, which oddly had it, even though Armani is just like, coming soon. I'm just like, you're the literal website. Anyway, I dampened a sponge. We're gonna see how this goes. I know my friend Shelby Wilson loves this so much, so hopefully I will have my memory refreshed that it is fantastic. I do think that shade 3 is a good shade for me, if I recall correctly. So it has a smell. Is it supposed to have a smell? What does that smell like? Ooh, I mean, it's not a fragrance, but it's a smell. Interesting. Okay, let's open up some questions. Oh man, ooh, we got some good stuff. So basically all I said was, what are we discussing today? And I opened it up kind of on terms of astrology. I'm done hiding my affinity for astrology because it like is annoying to some people. I'm just like, you know what? If you live your life by the phases of the moon, which by the way, if you have a period, you do already, life makes a lot more sense. So anyway, I said the eclipses are over for 6 months. Gemini season is almost here. Jupiter goes into Taurus today. It's Tuesday. I feel change afoot. How are y'all? Give me anything, everything. I love you. Natalie of My Skintress just said, let's talk Gemini season. So that's interesting, right? Because it all matters what house Gemini is in for you. Depending on it, so there's like different ways to look at it, like where your houses are, depending on if you look at it as like a whole sign thing, which I think is depending on your rising, like that's where you count your first house as your rising. And then, you know, like Susan Miller will do it all based on your sun sign. And like, I actually don't know how I feel about which one is correct, because I don't totally, and this is again probably me like lying to myself, but I don't like 100% align with being a Cancer rising as like that being the most important part of my chart kind of thing. But if that's the case, if I'm looking at the Chani app, which she did say that she's gonna start, like they're working on a version of it where you can go functioning off of your sun sign instead of your rising, and my sun sign is Aries. She said they're rolling one of those out, but it's gonna be a minute or whatever, but you know, I believe in them. They just came out with an Android app, so like that's really cool. And Natalie's a Gemini, by the way, so that means her birthday's coming up. Happy early birthday, Natalie! But I'm really liking some Luminous Silk right now. This is working for me. Gemini is actually in my last house. It's in my 12th house, which is like secrets and shadow work and like, you know, not the stuff that, well, I mean, by definition, not the stuff that we like to talk about, right? Shadow work is literally the stuff that we like hide from ourselves. And so, yeah. I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty intense for me. It usually is. So Mercury rules Gemini, and we just had that Mercury retrograde and it kicked my buns. My moon is also in Gemini. And so here I am with my moon in Gemini, moon being the ruler of my rising, which is Cancer. And then we've got Mars in Cancer, Mars being the ruler of my sun, but it's also exalted in, with the sun is exalted in Aries. So like, I feel like my big three like kind of are in a little like massage train, you know what I mean? They're all like trying to help each other out. It does actually, like when I look at it holistically, it all kind of makes sense. So anyway, Gemini is going to be about like, you know, where it is in your chart. And then also like it's ruled by Mercury, which also rules Virgo. And so it's all about communication and visual learning and deep diving, fact finding, receipts, you know, like that's Gemini's. Sorry, the vacuum is happening out there. Okay, so I was right that that's a really excellent shade match. I like the finish a lot. It's giving skin finish. It's also, I think, working really well with that primer. I'm gonna do a little bit of under eye corrector while I wait for the vacuum to stop. That gave me a chance to do my brows and my concealer as well, but you always see me do those things. So anyway, Gemini season. I think that Aries season, like having, you know, this initiation energy of spring and everything, there's almost like too much pressure, and that kind of results in, I don't know, it results in me being kind of unnecessarily stressed out probably and like wanting to do everything at once. And then Taurus season came along this year and it's just like eclipse season, Mercury retrograde, just like unable to find that like grounding energy from Taurus that, you know, you typically would. And I feel like Gemini is finally like, hey, the days are longer, it's getting hot outside, just freaking lean into it, relax, let stuff slow down. Like there's no big rush right now, you know? Hopefully that's what like the general vibe is, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if it was kind of hard for me just because it's like my moon and it's in my 12th house, so IDK. So we have the Rare Beauty bronzer here in the lightest shade. In fact, let me grab the other one so we can swatch them together. This is, if you don't know, one of my favorite bronzer formulas. And my kiddo got into it right after I got it, and it just has never fully recovered. But this is the shade that I typically wear called Power Boost. And then this is the new one, which is called Bright Side. And like, I think it's supposed to be, it's called Cool Toned, like the name of it. The color is described as being a cool bronze, and so I'm like, is it supposed to be a contour? I was very curious about that. I think it could work as a contour. I think we can use it as a contour today, but I also kind of feel like it doesn't have to be. So let's see, I have, for example, por ejemplo. Girl, like literally you had all this time and now you're like, where's my stuff? Oh, there it is. Hiding behind my computer. I went ahead and swatched Biscuit from Westman Atelier, which is about the same undertone, but a little bit more matte and a little bit more like deep, you know? And then we have my typical Oma contour, which, yeah, it's a little grayer. So I do think that we can get away with this being a little bit of a bronzer. Oh, and also, let's swatch Mo from Thrive. And I could get really carried away here because, like I said, I'm working on a video where this is the entire theme. So it's pretty similar to Mo. I would say Mo is even lighter and a little peacher. So we're gonna try and use it as a contour today. That's what I think we're gonna do. Okay, throwing that here on a BK 106. It is really satisfying to have like a brand new one that's really nice and round though. Since like I did not get that quality time with my first one before my kiddo was just like, and just like smashed the lid into it. This morning, he got into some of my PR, which I don't mind. You know what I mean? I'm there with him. It's not like he's just like, you know, running off with it on his own or something, but I was like explaining to him, you know, what he was using. I was like, oh, that's, you know, that's a lipstick, that's for your face or whatever. And he just like gave himself a full Joker smile immediately. Mike and I were just going, why so serious? Yeah, he got to see himself in the mirror and he did think it was funny. So I am obsessed with the finish that I'm getting from the combination of all of the complexion products here. This is not quite the same to me in terms of, you know, being a really effective contour as something like the Oma. Like, I'm not being pleasantly surprised right now by the shade. It's still giving bronzer to me, and it's a little touch green. Just a little tippity touch green to me. Like, it's going on in like a way that doesn't look super natural. But guess what? We're just gonna keep putting bronzer on until it makes sense. So that's today's mission. At least I do feel like the foundation is such a good shade match that like we're not working against it in that respect. So yeah, I think that's a good demo, y'all, of like what to expect from that color. It's good. It's kind of giving me like the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, the way that it has that little bit of green in it, you know, the cream bronzer that she came out with. My hair. I swear, it's like the fewer there are on my head, the more rogue each individual hair is, trying to do the most. So the next ones that I got the new Tower 28. This was, I think, last year, but this is the Bronzino in Suncoast. So it's even lighter and it's a little bit like shimmery highlightery. And then, yes, I went against all of my own, I don't know, better judgment. And I bought the next lightest shade, the lighter shade, the lightest shade, if you will, of the Sunmelt from Saie. And I say that if you're new here, which so few people are new here anymore. If you're new here, hi, welcome. The algorithm sending you to me is rare. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm right now. But Saie Beauty, I bought their entire line when they had been around maybe, you know, less than a year, and the products were all so bad. And I was like, what's going on here, you know? And I really just felt like it was one of those companies that was like getting funding and not really like putting a lot of thought and energy or like passion into the products themselves, especially when I'm used to using so many makeup artist owned brands that you like feel their experience coming through the formulas. And like, it just wasn't it. It was just a big fail. And so ever since then, I've had kind of a chip on my shoulder about Saie, because I do feel like a lot of their stuff is really hit and miss. And I do feel like a lot of their shade ranges are kind of hit and miss. So this being the new release and being the lightest shade, you know, we have now something that is quite light. Hoping that works out. Let's see, let's find out. Because I do love this delivery system. You know, it's kind of like the Chanel, it's kind of like the Make It by Mario one that I am steadily panning. Y'all, my entire body is resisting the urge right now to just start swatching all of them. Like that's gonna be my, maybe not the next video, but very, very soon. As soon as I get my head around these few new shades and everything. Uh-oh, I like that a lot. I like that so much. But yeah, it's going to be like a full on swatch fest of all of the bronzers. It'll be a face swatching video, I think. And we will get to the bottom of the lightest shades of every bronzer that's pretty much on the market because I have so many. Unless I thought they were terrible and got rid of them in my declutter, because that also is an important distinction. But if I did, it's still in the spreadsheet. I just had to delete 87,000 emails. Let me say that again. I just had to delete 87,000 emails yesterday because I ran out of room and I refused on principle to pay the $1.99 for Google to store more of my bullshit. Okay. Because I like making spreadsheets for y'all, but I also don't like deleting emails. In fact, I don't like reading emails. I don't like emails. And so I just let them accumulate because this is who I am. There are maybe three things that I've like learned about myself this year. It's actually kind of funny because that was what Gemini season was saying it was going to be. And I'm like, I don't know. I think this is the theme of my entire 2023. Can you align in here? And that is this like ego death self-discovery thing of just like so many things that I thought I knew about myself, completely not the case. Like as I have expanded my space that I'm giving in my life to friendships, and they just keep pouring in and I just keep meeting the most incredible people and forming like these really incredible friendships, I'm realizing that like, oops, I'm an extrovert. Wait, what? Like that is the new me, but it's also like I have like, who is this person? I have always thought of myself as someone who would rather, you know, stay home and recharge. And I definitely have those kinds of tendencies. And I should say before I can hear your typing fingers, I think that the binary of introvert extrovert is very false. Like I think that it is a spectrum just like anything else. I've always kind of felt that way because I'm really outgoing, but it's always like in a survival mode kind of way if I'm in like a work environment. But well, my old kind of work, my new kind of work, I feel like just fine. You know what I mean? Those people recharge me. Anyway, yeah, I definitely was like, when I was in that space, I would really need to go be alone in order to recharge. But now it's like, man, if I spend too much time alone, I just start picking the ingrown hairs on my legs and like getting real introspective and navel gazing and weird. And it's real depressing. So like I found that it's not just about distraction. It's about, you know, people in my life. Like I just have been really enjoying people, oddly enough. I'm such a cynic about these types of things usually. So we have 3 new shades in the Cosmetics So Soft blushes. We have Chiffon, Demure, and Strawberry. Strawberry is categorically not my shade and I won't be putting it on my face today, and that is the end of that discussion. Anybody who's like, Kaki, you can wear red, you can wear pinky red, you know what? You're wrong. It's not a diss track. You're just wrong. It's like not something that goes well on my face and I'm not gonna put it on. So we have Demure. Demure is giving. Demure is giving like everything that I want for this look, because what I'm going for today is going to be something that really concentrates on like the gold of it all. And so this is just such a chill color of blush that doesn't necessarily try and like steer us in one direction or another in terms of like warmth or coolness or whatever. It's just a healthy color on me. It's very desaturated, you know, but for me, that's what I need. It might be kind of dusty on deeper skin. It's actually, ooh, you know what it's really similar to? Wait. God, why can't I help myself? It's because this is another thing that I have learned about myself this year. I probably have ADHD, and I'm always gonna say probably because I don't really feel like getting a formal diagnosis because I'm not gonna take the medicine anyway, but it's a good thing to know. Yes. And so this is my hyperfixation, is makeup. And so it's like these things live rent-free in my head because what I'm passionate about is finding these things that are similar or comparable or whatever. So that is the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty Wand right there, the blush wand in the rare and exclusive Pillow Talk shade that's only on her website. And then this is Demure from Cosmetics, and it's much dewier, not wildly dewy, but still dewier than that because this is matte. But I feel like wow, are those similar? Like when you see the light hit them at the same time in the same way, when I'm not like bending my hand, Demira's slightly pinker, like a little bit less gray, but they're so similar. They're so similar, and I feel like they kind of do the same thing on the skin. So that's exciting because this is definitely one of my like favorite colors of anything right now. So fun. Let's take another question while I do some more blush. Astrology confuses the heck out of me. This is Kaima. Hi, Kaima. Astrology confuses the heck out of me. Where's the best source for a complete beginner? So I get this message all the time, and a lot of times people want me to like give them some kind of like Cliff's Notes version from my own brain, and I'm like, I know so little, okay? Like even if I'm doing a tarot reading, like every time I pull a card I have to Google it. Okay? Like I am not an expert, I'm just very curious about it. And so I will give you the same kind of things that you know what I mean? It's definitely like on a need to know basis, in the sense that like you don't need to understand everything about astrology in order to appreciate astrology. You know, you can just kind of like focus on yourself kind of thing. But you know, buy Channy's book. It's called You Were Born for This, and it teaches you how to read your chart, and it's amazing. It's really inspirational in the sense of like recognizing that your individuality is the most important thing. Like your individuality is your biggest gift, and like how you know, it just makes you think like, wow, I don't need to assimilate. Like me being this like special, unique specimen on earth is like the whole freaking point. And I love watching Sarah Verba. I think that she does a really good job of presenting astrology. She's here on YouTube, but she's also got, you know, like Patreon and stuff like that. She does a really good job of presenting astrology in like a kind way that isn't, you know, threatening, like, oh, you pulled the death card. I mean, that's still, it's tarot, but like they do tend to kind of go hand in hand. And so it's like, oh, you know, it's gonna like translate to something horrible happening in your life. It's like, no, it could just be like an ego death, or like, you know, you get kind of, I get kind of excited about pulling a Tower card because I'm just like, ooh, change, big change, let's go, let's freaking go kind of thing. So I don't know, I appreciate that she's always trying to take a more kind approach to the, you know, the astrology and the readings and everything like that. And she's also just all about like mental health and creating community and stuff, which I think is huge. I am absolutely obsessed. Absolutely obsessed with what's happening on my cheeks right now. So good. In the spirit of what we've been doing lately, I'm just going to build a little bit of shape on my eyes with bronzer. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do it with the Victoria Beckham wands because they're very similar, I think, in concept, and will probably build a good, healthy foundation for this Hourglass stick that's gonna be like the main character. So I'm gonna start in with Trench because it's so neutral. So I think that like all you have to do is just kind of, if you're curious about it, just start watching creators, seeing who you like, because you know, everybody's got kind of different energy. It took me a minute to come around to like Chris Corsini because I was like, is he full of crap? You know what I mean? Like it was just this very like, he's just really big energy, and I honestly, that's how a lot of people feel when they watch me, is they're just at first they're like, I don't know if I get it, you know? And so I was actually really, I don't know, I was excited when I, you know, kept watching his content, and I was like, oh, like this person's kind of the real thing. And and I'm not saying that he's like, you know, some kind of medium or something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's the real thing in the sense that he knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He's actually like done a lot of, you know, learning and stuff. He's very fluent in it. And Chris Corsini is the one that you see who's always doing sign language while he's doing a reading. And I think that that's really cool. I just think it's cool. Inclusivity is cool. And he did this kind of like online seminar thing. It was like a group meditation or whatever, and I just ended up downloading it after the fact, and it was a cord cutting meditation. Cord cutting being like, you know, just trying to disconnect from things that are maybe, you know, not serving you anymore or whatever. And it's just the weirdest thing because pecan, that's what we're going to use on the outer corner before we go in with the Hourglass. But I did his cord cutting meditation, and it's the weirdest thing because I have ever since, and that was like, I don't know, a week ago or something, ever since then, I have been able to sleep without a sleep aid. Like I've just been getting to bed at a normal time and sleeping all the way through the night. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm not like claiming magic or anything, but it was like right after I did that meditation, I got so freaking sleepy. And I was like, well, that's nice. It's like I did this really nice deep meditation, and I kind of was dozing off in the end of it, and it would just really put me at ease and relaxed me. And I was like, that's cool. I got one good night's sleep and I didn't have to use any melatonin or anything. And then, by God, the next night it happened, and the next night it happened, and the next night, and I've just been getting these like really crazy good nights of sleep. which is just the best. So, I don't know, man. I don't claim to like understand all the mysteries of the universe. I think that that's kind of why I like astrology so much, is there's always something new to know and something new to learn. Oh, I also like, oh no, I'll put her handle up because I don't even know if I can like pronounce her name well by memory. She has like a pronunciation guide on her or whatever. I get the emphasis on the wrong syllable and I don't want to screw it up. But I think it's Eliza. I think her name is Eliza, not Eliza. It looks like Eliza, but it's Eliza. And she does some really lovely stuff on Instagram that I think is just insightful and nice. Ooh, ooh, oh, I forgot how much I freaking adore these. God, they're so good. So this will complement, if it's good, if the Hourglass one is good. I mean, we are really setting it up for a success here because these Victoria Beckham ones are just off the stinking charts. Look at it. God, it's just so pretty. Okie doke, so here we go. This again is the shade Voyeur, which, what are we going into like NARS territory here? And it's giving gold, or at least it's trying to give gold. We're not trying to like get glitter here. I don't think that Hourglass is the brand that's gonna give us like a multi-chrome like eye crayon, you know? Like that's not Hourglass's gig. That's pretty though. Let me swatch that against Pecan here. Not Pecan, against, what was the other one? Caramel? From Victoria Beckham, because that's just a valuable comparison. Okay, yeah, no, they're pretty different. So the Hourglass one is quite gold, and there we go. A lot warmer. And then this one, that's the other thing, is I don't really totally love caramel because it's not giving me caramel. Do you know what I mean? It's giving me kind of taupe, and when it gets on my skin, it actually goes a little too cool. I hope they come out with one that's a little bit warmer. And then here we have Oyster, which is always welcome on my face. It's just always welcome. And this entire look is just all cream shadows, and I'm so here for it. Like me a year ago, you would not have caught me doing an entire look with cream shadows and being happy with it, but like the formulas have just been kicking butt lately. I do feel like we could use a little bit something deeper out there in the outer corner, and I don't know if it's Pecan, because Pecan, we've already done it, you know, and it's pretty, but like it's not quite deep enough. Maybe we can get a little more on there and see. Look how like sloppy you can be. It's awesome. I'll take a smaller brush to spread it out, and maybe that will be a way to keep it darker. I'm working kind of quickly because we're not working with any slip underneath there anymore from complexion product. You know, it's like piled on top of itself at this point, so kind of want to get in there and get out. But like, you don't need to set this. She's going to do all the work for you. So, you know, is that color from Hourglass like gonna change my life? Not necessarily, but I'm not sure that that's really what it's going for either. Ooh, it does layer pretty nicely though. Like once you get that first layer set down, like you can get some shimmer on there. That's kind of nice. It's a very pretty color. And I mean, you can't argue with how freaking easy that was. It was so fast. So let me throw on some liner real quick and my mascara, and then we will come back and talk about some lips and probably answer maybe one more question, probably pertaining to astrology, because that seems to be the vibe today. I'm like really happy that that's what y'all wanted to talk about. Realized that I didn't even put on any powder yet, so let's find my powder, and I'm gonna kind of scan real quick and see if there are any more astrology questions. There's a new girl in town, the 110. Ooh, so maybe we'll use that. Optimistic and like fate has handed me some great things even if they're challenging. Like that's how they're feeling right now, and I'm like kind of all about that as like a vibe. Because I think that the main thing, if I could be, you know, a little armchair astrologer for a second, is that we are kind of all needing to embrace change right now because the change is going to happen regardless. So it's like you can either resist it or you can go with it. And either way it's going to happen, you know? I take heart in inevitability, not that I think that life is like, you know, built on fate and like everything's predetermined or something, but I do certainly like to relax into the inevitability of change. Like it's just something that, I don't know, brings me ease for some reason. As someone who kind of in my life tends to be the person who drives the plot forward, the idea of like not having to make decisions, like huge decisions all the time, it's a nice feeling every once in a while. I don't actually know what's on this brush. I'm just kind of blending whatever the hell is happening. And I do feel like we ended up very, very bronze and not very like pink in any way. I'm like wondering if we should use a little bit of chiffon from Cosmetics because it's like it's a very kind of like cool purpley pink. It might be a horrible idea, but let's try it anyway. It's kind of giving a little bit, not neon, but like a little bit of like Dior Rosy Glow. A little bit. It's a different direction, right? I typically go apricot. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I don't know if cool was the way to go, but you know, it's just makeup and we're going in a direction today. We're just going in a direction. It goes with my rose quartz plugs that I put in order of, what? Venus moving into Taurus, I think? Venus is moving into Taurus and Jupiter's moving into Taurus, and I just like want to feel the love. So. You know what? I don't mind that. I think the other thing that needs to happen is just a little bit of what I typically do, the Victoria Beckham. I'm gonna use Rattly Natalie for this. And I'm gonna just put a little bit of that underneath my eyes. Like right, it's not right underneath my eyes, it's just like to bridge the gap between my concealer and everything else. And I'm tempted to do this. I know. It's like, it's a lot. And I'm afraid that since the Tower 28 is so kind of like dewy gooey, it might disturb, but maybe just that little bit on the back of my hand like that, I can like, boop, 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 boop. We're doing it. I mean, we're going for it, right? It's gonna give me, it's almost a highlighter. I'm not even sure it's coming off the brush, but it's definitely getting dewy. So something else that has been patiently waiting her turn to be brought upstairs into this room is the Fix Plus Magic Radiance. I got a brand new bottle. In fact, I got two. Let's freaking go. Give me the magic and the radiance. I want all of it. So I also need some clear brow gel. Tell me more about Geminis. I'm having twin girls on Monday. I think they'll be Geminis. So you're giving birth to the Olsen twins. So like, that's pretty much the coolest thing ever. Congratulations, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible for you. You know, Geminis are some of my favorite people. Geminis are truth seekers, you know? They have, it feels like infinite memories. And even though they can kind of move past indiscretions and, you know, things that didn't go well or whatever, they never forget. But also Geminis are air signs. And so air signs are always going to have this like quality about them where they live in their own world, right? I mean, a Libra, I feel like Libras are a little bit more grounded, but like a Gemini or an Aquarius, I have put a kink in my hair. They're definitely like, you know, on their own planet, which is kind of my favorite thing about them. Geminis are also immensely generous to the point of like, you know, defaulting on their own needs in order to accommodate the people around them. They tend to be kind of people pleasers, but also I feel like it's like, it doesn't always have to be like that. It's not necessarily always a negative thing. I just feel like they're the kind of people who always have the attitude of like, it's gonna work out, you know? Like, whatever I give, I'm gonna get back, and like, it just understanding the, I don't know, the holistic nature of the universe and not being like super selfish and self-serving. They're just kind of chill in ways that can be really frustrating for people who are like big initiator energy, because they are a mutable sign. And so it's like, you're like, get a move on, you know, because I'm an Aries, but it's also just a really great counterweight, you know, to, I don't know, you don't always want to hurry all the time. So finishing off here with my new favorite thing, which is the Clarins Lip Comfort Oil. It smells like snow cones. It makes me so happy. It reminds me of like day camp when I was a kid. Also, 3 cheers for Magic Radiance. Oh my God, where have you been? Like, I don't know what I was doing without her. That is so pretty. So, quick smasher pass on the things that we tried today real quick. This is gonna be making it back into rotation now that I have these, you know, special needs for my skin right now, where I want the wear time, but I also want the pretty dewy thing happening. And so the Luminous Silk Foundation in shade 3, A+, works really well with the Givenchy. I feel like they just agreed with one another today, and it's a lot of like effective pigment without being a ton of product on my skin, which is fantastic. It just feels really good. The Rare Beauty, you know what? I think that it kind of evened out. It might require me getting used to it a little bit, but I do really like the formula. So I think that that's gonna be enough for me to feel encouraged to keep working with it to see how I feel, you know, because it's a new color. So we'll see. I might just be eating my words on this one. And not that I said this was gonna be bad or something, but the last few products that I've tried from Saie have been kind of a little bit disappointing for one reason or another. And this is just A+ on shade, okay? I really like it. So this is really inspiring me again to deep dive on the cream blushes again as we move into the warmer months, and follow up on my last bronzer video to give you all more information as new shades have come out. So that's gonna be coming soon. The formula on the So Soft blushes has always been one of my favorites. It's just kind of this like beautiful like hybrid cream stick from M Cosmetics, but I have to say Demure is like, it's kind of everything. Again, it's really, really similar to the Pillow Talk shade from Charlotte Tilbury, so bear that in mind if this is a more, I don't know, accommodating delivery system for you, if this is something that interests you more than the little sponge guy. But either way, this I think is, you know, a really, really good kind of like, not a dupe, but it's a very similar shade. Oh, and the Hourglass stick, this is not a run, do not walk situation. It's a really pretty color, and I think that people with like maturing skin are going to find a good, again, accommodating amount of shimmer that looks really nice, that isn't going to be like overwhelmingly glittery. The colors are pretty. It's probably a little bit expensive. I mean, I did buy it, I just don't remember how much it was, but I really like it. I like the color and everything, but you know, and it goes really well with the Victoria Beckham. It's just like not, you know what I mean? It's not blowing my mind. It's just nice. It's just nice. And maybe nice is what you're looking for. So all that in mind, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this little get ready with me. Very chill. This is a very like me face of makeup. I love how it turned out. And I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if y'all did. I will put a video over here that I think that you're going to enjoy if you liked this one. I will list everything that I used below. I love y'all so much, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.